We got one more to do. All right. This one's rough. I'm sure people have seen this one before. We've talked about the new theology that Vivek Ramaswamy has been crafting up. But this one was something, I think, pretty amazing. There's a lot to say here. I'm sure people have seen it. Let's dive into it. Let's just play this clip. I mean, Ann Coulter, I always am amazed she's still around because she really does seem like such like a 2005 era character. But she's still here kicking. And she's advanced. She's at a whole new level of like white lady racism. That is pretty amazing here. So Vivek has a talk show now because, of course, and he had Ann Coulter on. And let's hear how this opening goes.
And that's why I brought on today somebody who I think has some thoughtful perspectives on the future direction of our country, of our conservative movement, and on this question of nationalism and national identity, somebody I've been fascinated by for a long time and have interacted with on social media, but for the first time we're having at least a live form conversation in the offline sense of it. It's Ann Coulter. So Ann, thanks for coming on, and I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
Me too. Thanks for having me. That was a fantastic opening monologue. I, too, am a fan of yours. So I'm going to make a point of disagreeing with you so that it will be fun. You are so bright and articulate, and I guess I can call you articulate since you're not an American black. Can't say that about them. That's derogatory. And that was a great opening segment. Lots of things to talk about there. Oh, and I agreed with many, many things you said during, in fact, probably more than most other candidates when you were running for president. But I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian. We'll get back to that.
So, I mean, pretty despicable bit there from Ann Coulter. I mean, a double whammy of that bizarre comment about black people. And then the real knife in the heart about not voting for Vivek because he's an Indian.
Yeah. And, Vivek later said on Twitter,
we have it, yeah.
Ann Coulter told me flat out to my face that she couldn't vote for me, quote, because I'm an Indian, even though she agreed with me more than most of the candidates. I disagree with her, but respect she had the guts to speak her mind. It was a riveting hour. Now, what Vivek couldn't say is I disagreed with her because he didn't. He let that shit entirely slide and didn't say a fucking thing about it. What a prime rib bitch to say that and then to come out and say like, oh no, I respect that she had the guts to do what she's been doing her entire fucking career, which is racism. Yeah, she had the guts to do it. She doesn't do anything else, you stupid motherfucker.
Well, it's funny because it's not even like at the level of he's not even taking strong enough of a position to be like, I disagree vehemently with what you're saying, but I will die, to protect your right to do so. He's just like, wow, you're really tough and aren't afraid to speak your mind. You call me a bitch and spit in my face, and I respect you for that. It's extremely pathetic.
And she even said like, oh, maybe we'll return to this. They didn't because he didn't want to. She gave him open. If you want to, I'm going to say this thing within 20 seconds of you introducing me that you're disqualified because from where you're from, buddy. And I mean, or your nationality, whatever Coulter proceeds to as, like, that is so debased. It is so pathetic. And what's wild is like Vivek don't need this money. And if it was about making money and getting attention in the media sphere, actually disagreeing would have been the play to have done because it would have been way more interesting than, frankly, this debased thing. But Vivek doesn't care about that. He wants to be part of the team. He is Drake in the University of Kentucky warm-ups right now. Homie thinks he's part of the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty pathetic. It's
not what women like.
You know, I mean, it's complete beta stuff. It's really, it's a weird thing though for somebody like him to try to find a place within
not just the Republican Party, but the lane of the Republican Party that he's been trying to find space in. Because, you know, there's been a lot written about him. G. Her had a really great piece about, Indian Americans, right? And like that group of Americans and the kind of relationship to the Republican Party that we're trying to that we've been seeing, you know, because there's a lot of conversations about that with like people like Nikki Haley running for president, you know, against somebody like Vivek, you know, and you know, a lot of very famous Indian American Republicans, but the lane that Vivek has decided to enter into is the lane that wants to do the, hey, there's not a lot of white people in this crowd. This might be a problem. Or I don't know if you heard Chip Roy going on about Chip Roy, a Republican congressman from Texas, going on this week about the amount of non-American born children that we have in this country. You know what I mean? Like that's a very particular and nasty lane in the Republican Party. It's all nasty, don't get me wrong. But Vivek sort of, I think, I don't know what he thought he would, I mean, I don't know. You can never know somebody's true heart, Matt, but like, I think that he might have not realized just how ready this group was to go full on, you know, I won't vote for you because you're an Indian.
Yeah. And I mean, it's really a case of, I think, underestimate, because what he saw was a bunch of hogs that he could exploit for a political career. And, you know, look, buddy, we haven't broken that glass ceiling yet. It's still going to be weird when you mention the afterlife. You're still going to be insulted directly and disqualified even just by virtue of who the fuck you are. And so you can be base, you can talk about, you know, memes all you want. You are still considered less of a person. And that is sad, regardless of how much money you have for being, you know, a scam artist.
It's embarrassing. It's
You're the one on TV talking about my penis to 5 million people.
Oh man. There's a lot of fucked up shit in this world, but we're very happy to have all of y'all here supporting the program. Thanks you for being patrons. Thanks for listening to this Sunday show. We're going to be joined by our good buddy Paul Prescott on the program this Tuesday. He has a new piece out in Damage Magazine, which is really excellent on institutional racism. You won't want to miss the interview, and definitely read the piece. See y'all then. Have a good rest of the weekend and take care, friends.